Hey, everybody. Best way to teach basic math facts. That's what's going to be coming at you. Oh, I'm super excited about this. So I'm going to encourage you, number one, to subscribe because I have quite a few little videos coming that are tips and tricks and strategies to help you teach your kids, your students, their basic math facts. And when we're talking about basic math facts, we're talking about the foundational things that the kids need to know in order to do their higher math. So they're going to need their addition, they're going to need subtraction math facts, they're going to need multiplication, and they're going to need division. And the reason this is so important, your kids may not grow to be mathematicians. Out of all five of my sons, only one of them is a mathematician. But all five of the kids are in need of understanding how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide so that they can do basic measuring, percentages, even working up into and through classes like algebra and calculus, depending on what it is that they want to do and be when they grow up. So, the reason that understanding your basic math facts, not just understanding them, but knowing them from the inside out, is that when they get to the higher math, we don't want them to spend their time trying to figure out, well, what is 7 times 8? Or what is 5 times 4 or whatnot. I want you to think about baking for a second. Say you were going to bake a cake. This is what math facts, I'm just adding color to my poster. Say that you wanted to bake a cake, but you didn't know what or where the flour is, what or where the sugar or vanilla. Or when you read the recipe, when it says cup, you think, oh, well, here's a cup. You don't know how many ounces that means, or what a tablespoon is, or how many teaspoons. If you approach making a cake and you don't know the fundamental vocabulary and tools that are necessary for you to bake that cake, you can imagine that that would be a super frustrating experience. Will you get the cake done? Of course. But you're going to have to pause and look up. Thank goodness for Siri. Thank goodness for Google. Siri, what is flour? Flour is ground wheat berries. It's like, oh, okay, ground wheat berries. Well, Siri, where do I find wheat berries and how do I grind them? Right? There's that whole basic foundational understanding. When my oldest son was in fifth grade, we officially started homeschooling at home, where we had been working with a co-op type school where the parents were the teachers in the school. And I had been teaching with him, homeschooling with him, but for his third and fourth grade years, he was taught by another mom in the school I was tasked to teach in fifth grade. So he wasn't quite at my level yet. So I remember when we finally officially went home to homeschool at the table. And by the way, whatever you are doing that you call homeschool, that's homeschool. I've done it all, the co-ops, the independent, the write my own curriculum, all of it. And it doesn't make anybody better or worse than you. Trust me, whatever works for you is what works for you. So there I was sitting at the kitchen table and he was working through his math. And I remember looking at him doing his math, and he was counting, and he was using his scratch paper to do repeated addition, to do like a double or triple digit multiplication problem. And I'm like, Thomas, don't you know what 7 times 8 is, or whatever the problem was? And he's like, no, I don't. And I go, what do you mean? No, you don't. Dude, you're in fifth grade. How did it escape me that you didn't know that you don't know your multiplication facts? He's like, I don't know. So there we were in fifth grade, and he didn't know his multiplication facts. Now, the reason this is such a big deal, eventually the kids are going to be doing things like algebra, finding the area and the perimeter of a shape, doing things like quadratic equations, possibly, graphing equations, just using math to solve more and more complicated equations and things called inequalities, all these things. If they don't know what flour is, they're going to spend all their time trying to figure out what flour is so that they can just get to bake the cake. The same is true with these basic math facts. If they don't know what 10 plus 7 is, they're going to spend their precious time and energy trying to figure out that addition when really that's not what the math problem's goal is. The math problems, once they get into higher, third and up, is all about working these different formulas and equations out. So, the best thing we can do for our kids is to concentrate and make sure that they not only know their math facts, but they know them inside and out. People will argue that kids don't need to memorize these things anymore. And I understand that. People will also argue and say, well, they don't need to know the fundamental vocabulary of math. Things like addend, subtrahend, minuend, product, difference, all those things. And I taught for years like that, thinking, oh, it's just 3 times 4. It's just 2 plus 1. It's just 7 minus 3. The challenge is that everything has its own set of vocabulary. And if they happen to go on to do things like algebra, trigonometry, calculus, those types of things later, that vocabulary is going to slam them in the face and they're not going to know. And it's going to be like they're trying to bake a cake, but they don't know what flour is. It's like, wait, this is a very basic fundamental thing. So I'm going to be doing this whole series on teaching our kids basic math facts. The videos will be singular focused. So it might be how to use a hundreds chart to show your kids how much they already know, or a great flashcard that incorporates the math fact family so that when your kid knows one piece of a math fact family, it means they actually already know all 4 facts that go together. And that'll be in the next and not in the next video, but in one of the upcoming videos. Math facts are so important that we just know them the same way that you know your name, you know your phone number, hopefully, you know what color your eyes are. It's just off the top of your head. You don't have to think about it. Well, last time I looked, my eyes were blue. Yeah, Becky, your eyes are blue. Last time I looked, I spell my name Bekki. Yep, Becky, that's right. Off the top of your head. You don't have to think twice about it. Your math facts, your kids' math facts need to be like that, where they don't have to think twice about it. Now, like me, that means you may have to slow down. You may need to do a math fact boot camp where you just concentrate on math facts. Or you may want to weave in math fact practice every single day of whatever days that you choose to do academic type things. It's worth it. As someone that's had 5 kids go at least partway through college, because I still have one that's still in, I still have a couple working on their degrees, one that's in high school. All 5 of my kids went all the way past algebra. Most of them went into calculus. Those math problems are tricky. And almost all math mistakes are because of fundamental math errors, adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing, because the math problem is complicated and you get distracted in the work. So let's work together and equip you with strategies and tactics and tricks and resources that will help you help your kids master those math facts. They need to know them inside and out. Now, this is going to be the video series, one of the video series that I'm going to be working on next. So I'm going to encourage you to subscribe and to like and to hit the little bell wherever it is on your screen so that when the next video pops up, you'll be able to find it. I do have a playlist started that says best way to teach basic math facts. and that's where I will be putting all of the videos as I'm recording them. And then if there are any resources that I mention or anything that I used that were very successful, any things that I used that were very successful teaching my kids math facts, then I'll put those down in the descriptions. So make sure you find the little drop arrow in the videos and see if there's anything in there that you should at least take a peek at. Sound good? So I'm super excited about this series. It's coming at you soon. Make sure you subscribe, and I will see you very, very soon. Bye.